following an influencer whose allegedly authentic life is filled with chaos, deceit, and manipulation. Today, we're diving into the story of Adrielle Sigler, better known as Vegan Rizz, whose trashy antics have left a trail of damage across social media. This is the untold story of how one influencer's reckless behavior impacts thousands of followers, and it starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome back to DeInfluenced. I am your host Sasha, and my goal here is to get you guys to think critically about where you're currently spending your social media currency, and I do that by revealing the truth behind the highlight reels of today's popular influencers. Today we are diving into the chaotic life of Adrielle Sigler, the long-awaited deep dive. And yeah, there's a lot to cover here, guys, like a lot. And I'm not even 100% confident that I will be able to get this entire deep dive into one doc, which is insane. But that is just how problematic this influencer is. So as a quick recap, if you guys didn't catch my last video, Adrielle Sigler, aka Vegan Rizz, is a TikTok social media influencer. She is 33 years old, and on her main account, she has amassed over 1 million followers, which is insane, but okay. However, right now, that big account is taken down, and she's on her secondary account. Supposedly another TikToker called in a favor and got her other account taken down, but then it came back because it was only temporary, but now it's still, I don't know what's going on. Again, there is so much to this woman that I can't keep up. And as of yesterday, today is August 20th, 2024 when I'm filming this, and as of yesterday, she was caught talking and communicating with minors. That kind of behavior isn't okay, and allegedly she was telling them not to listen to their parents or not do what their parents say, and overall that's not okay, and that's potentially extremely harmful. And most of her gifters are actually adolescents or teenagers, young kids, and that's really concerning to me given what her content is, which is controversial, thirst trap, poor parenting content. She is the walking definition of infamy and has mastered the art of rage baiting. And I don't think that that's a good direction that we should be teaching our children, that is acceptable on social media, because it's not, and it's dangerous. And one Redditor brought up, what if she blocks one of these teenagers? What if someone says something that she doesn't like and she blocks them? That can have severe mental health impacts and get really dangerous. We all know that teenagers are suffering right now. Maybe you don't if you don't have a teenager at home who grew up in the day and age of social media, but they're suffering, and their mental health is at an all-time low with the rise of social media in the last couple of years, and especially since the pandemic when everyone was at home consuming social media. TikTok blew up. We have seen a serious decline in the mental health of teenagers. So to have an influencer like this who is erratic and chaotic and giving really poor advice, and also her GoFundMe scams, which we will get into in a little bit, it's showing the younger generation that it is okay to be deceitful online for financial gain, and that no consequences are going to come from it. So you might as well just go and make a quick, easy buck. And that is a dangerous direction to take social media. So as I had said, this is going to definitely be a longer video because there's just so much, and I'm going to break it up as best I can, topic by topic, with the problems surrounding Adrielle Sigler. So we are definitely going to cover the GoFundMe scams because those are really big, really controversial. We are also going to look at false accusations because those are a point of contention for a lot of people, where she lost a lot of following by spewing these false accusations because, of course, naturally, she's a true crime sleuth. So that means that she can just make all these wild false accusations whenever she wants and post them to her million followers, because that's also not dangerous. And then we are also going to touch a little bit on her parenting fails and her failure as a parenting what? That doesn't even make sense. Her failures as a parent and the way she treats people and her mannerisms towards people. And I'm also going to try and touch on crossing boundaries, and there's so much. There's so much to cover. So let's get into it, guys. The first thing I want to touch on as we're diving into who Adrielle Sigler is the fact that she has a seriously overinflated ego and sense of self. It is insanity. She 100% thinks that she's famous and that she's top dog in her small town of Jamestown, New York.
People in this small little town I live in are so jealous of my TikTok following.
Yeah, she's that kind of person. Everybody around me is really jealous.
She is constantly bragging about how people are jealous of her because she's famous and because she's an influencer and because she's in a small town, so people get jealous.
And out of pure spite, that jealous woman, sad that people get blinded by hate and they can't even see that it roots from jealousy. And it's kind of lonely when you become hot. And jealous women will single me out and act this way towards me. No, it's because they're jealous. People from small towns get jealous over the silliest things. Alternatively, because I'm a young, attractive female in their small town who stands out because I have a large following, it makes them rage. People get jealous of you. Mom gets jealous, and I'm a local influencer in town who they obsess over. That you would only seek attention like that from someone and treat someone like that if you're jealous.
And I believe she even compared herself at one point in time to the Kardashians and being famous like them, which, again, I have my own thoughts about that family being famous for no reason. But that's a deep dive for a different day now, isn't it? Ooh, that's interesting. This is going to be good for TikTok, and finally the FTC is cracking down, although it's too little too late, I feel. The FTC has a new rule saying creators can't buy fake followers on accounts they use to make money. The agency said it would crack down on false indicators of influence that could deceive consumers. Brands also can't pay for fake engagement without risking the FTC's IRE. So if you notice counts go down, you know why. Who do you think will be the first to lose a bunch of followers? So here's one example of her blatantly stating that she's famous, or that she thinks she's famous, and saying that everybody's just jealous of her.
That jealous woman, if you're jealous. Never faced the type of jealousy hot women get until I became a hot girl myself. It roots from jealousy. And jealous women, no, it's because they're jealous. People from small towns get jealous. I'm a young, attractive female. It makes them rage. People get jealous of you. Mom gets jealous. You're jealous.
And I think this Redditor summarized it nicely. So, jealous of a beggar who has no friends and is hated by everything? She got us. And that's just it. It's so funny that influencers or their following uses, oh, she's just jealous. It's like, no, guys, they live a very miserable life. Am I envious at the fact that they have financial freedom and get paid to do literally nothing and contribute nothing to society? Sure, I'm a little envious, but I do not want to be her. I don't want to be like her. Not at all. No, thank you. Please. I am good with my friends. I am good with my husband. I'm good with my kid. Like, we good over here. Nobody is jealous of these people. And that is such a funny, deflective argument. It's so funny.
Let's pretend LAPD in California received 5 police reports about the Kardashian family. Let's pretend the Kardashians got reported the same exact reports that were made about me and my children. LAPD would disregard that. They would ask the person filing the report, where's your evidence for this? You're crazy. And then they would write it off as a false report and submit it into their filing system. I'm a public figure. My accounts get millions and millions of views per week. This is my livelihood. This is my job. This is my career choice.
Comparing people calling cops on her to the Kardashians, she has this overinflated sense of ego, and then on top of that, she's constantly flaunting cash, flaunting how much money she makes, and she's got like a cash gun that blows money. And
what do you do for work? I fire off money guns and battle. What do you mean battle? I get cowgirl hats and sing a song. What song? Are you sure you want to know? Yes, I want to know. Okay, I get the pink cowgirl hat. Do you wear it? Yeah, it's a gift. A gift? Here's how it goes. When I get on top, I ride. I'm a homie hopper till I die. Bring your best friend or 5. Because I just want to... Stop it! I can't watch anymore. What else do you do for work? Well, sometimes I get galaxies. What? Oh, I get galaxies and then I sing a really funny song. Is it like the last one? Kind of. Show me. Oh, it goes like this. Sticking out my yacht for the Rizzler. So skibbity, so phantom tax. I just wanna be your Sigma. What the actual
yet has the audacity to dry beg her followers for thousands upon thousands of dollars in GoFundMe scandals. So let's move on to that topic. So first off, she started with a GoFundMe scam for her son's braces. And this was right before he got into the fight because, of course, she's a TikTok star, so she doesn't have insurance and braces are very, very expensive. But then she goes on to say that they required her to pay in full up front and all this other stuff. To which people were quick to point out, no, most orthodontic places, because you don't know the length of time for treatment, won't charge you up front. Because who knows how long the kid's going to need the braces for. So you pay a monthly payment plan. And usually, yeah, sure, you have to pay a little bit more up front. X amount up front, and then we'll have a payment plan for blah, 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 blah. That's what other people are saying with their experiences surrounding braces. And not long after that, she started the GoFundMe for $30,000 for moving expenses.
I have put a $30,000 GoFundMe together. It is imperative we move as soon as possible. As a mother, I need to do whatever I can to keep my children safe. After my son was jumped by 10 people and assaulted, our lives were threatened. They threatened to come back to our home, do it again, and bring a weapon. I'm a single mother in the state of New York. It is incredibly expensive to move, not one, but just myself and my children.
And, sorry, it doesn't cost $30,000 to move anywhere, anytime. Even if you're moving states, even with first and last month's rent, even with the top of the line rent, it's still not $30,000.
As a single mother, I have so many hurdles to jump over if I want to move my children as safely and quickly as possible. Here's the first hurdle. First, I have to find a home. Then I have to apply for the home, which is not for free. You always have to pay application fees. Then I have to get approved. Next, if I'm approved or not, I have to be chosen. I went on a road trip with my children today. We went to our city of choice. We went to several open houses. The line of people who wanted that home were lined up to the sidewalk at all the properties except for one. And we weren't the only ones there interested in renting. If you want to be chosen, if you get approved, you have to stand out. If I'm taking this move seriously, I will stand out as a single mom if I offer to pay off the lease. That's what will stand out. That's what's likely that will allow me to get approved and chosen. So not only do I have to apply, get approved, I also have to get chosen, and there's always competitors. It is a very competitive market right now. That is why it's going to cost me $30,000 to move. I will have to pay off that lease, which could be very pricey because I have to relocate to a safe neighborhood, and it's always going to be a little more expensive if you want to have a safe school district for your children and a safe neighborhood.
But she has to hire movers.
Next, I have to find movers. I have to pay for haul away junk services because there's so many things we have to get rid of. We're going to be hauling things away, donating things, and that is not free.
Because she has no friends to help her move or family to help her move and load a truck.
We have to turn on utilities, shut off utilities, transfer, internet provider services. Moving as a single mother is not cheap. Moving as a single mother is very difficult to be chosen. And I want to do everything in my power that will make me stand out to the landlord or the property agent or the realtor to show that I'm serious. This is very important to me and my family. We are so serious about this that we will pay off the lease. A lot of you might not be from New York. You might not be from the East Coast. You might not understand how competitive it is to move. And when I tell you there are other people to choose from, there are other people to choose from. And I'm not going to get chosen for the safe home that we want to live in if I don't show how serious I am about signing this lease. We are not safe in the city of Jamestown, New York. My kids are not going to school because they are receiving threats connected to the gang of kids who jumped, assaulted, and robbed my son Thursday, May 2nd. I just paid off both of my rents until the end of summer. I rent a garage, I rent a house. I paid off my rent for the house until September, and I paid off the garage until August. So had I known this was going to happen and we were going to have to relocate as soon as possible for safety reasons, I would not have paid my rent that far in advance. I'm grateful that I chose today to be productive. I'm glad that I chose to wake up and put my anger to the side and find a plan to put in action. I'm glad that we hit the road together and went out of town to find what options we have that are available for us. And again, this is a very serious issue. It is very expensive to move, especially if you need to move as soon as possible in a competitive market. If you can't contribute towards the GoFundMe, send me a video gift. I really hope I get approved. I hope I get chosen if I am approved. And I guess it's just a waiting game until then. I am concerned for my safety. I'm concerned for my children's safety. The threats we've been receiving are scary. But, that's just what happens when you expose a news story and you expose criminals. This is what criminals do. They want to seek revenge. They want to retaliate, blah, blah, blah. We'll be gone very soon, hopefully, just because we're moving and not because someone acts on the threats that they're committing. Anyway, goodbye. And thank you for donating. The link is in my bio.
She has to buy all new furniture so that they can save money with the moving expenses, I think, which to me, $200 for a truck, thousands upon thousands of dollars for all new furniture. But the thing that really gets a lot of people with this big emergency move GoFundMe scam is the fact that it was all set up based on lies. Now, I'm not going to get too much into the backstory here because I did go into a bit of a more comprehensive overview in this video, which I will try and remember to link here. I might not. Don't judge me too hard. But I will definitely have it linked at the end and in the description box. And I go into more in depth of the fight and how she played it all out. And I also highly recommend you check out Carly Gifford's video on Adrielle Sigler, which I will have linked in the description box as well, because she went really hardcore in depth and she downloaded hours, I think she said upwards of 4 hours worth of her TikToks, went through the whole progression of the scam. It was really interesting as I was doing research for this deep dive because a lot of people were saying it feels so performative and so fake. And now hindsight's 2020, of course, we're looking back on it, we know. And a lot of people from the beginning were questioning things, especially since in the first video, the very first video, she planted the seed of, I need to move. We need to get out of here. We are unsafe. I have also come to find out since filming my first dip the toes dive into Adrielle, the allegations for the SA were out April 25th, I believe. They were exposed April 25th, according to a article. And the fight was May 2nd. So to me, that makes it look even more like a cover-up setup, the whole fight thing, and that she 100% knew about it. And you can tell just based off of her behaviors and her mannerisms and everything when she's telling the stories and she's going into it, you can tell that it's super dramatized and that it's just yucky. You know, it's just not cool. So while I'm here and I agree that there should never ever be a 10 versus 1, 11 versus 1, 9, 8, 7, 6, I don't know how many versus 1 kid. Frankly, it should never be a fight at all. It is insane to me that she went on full blown knowing what was going on and tried to paint her son as the sole victim in the matter. And as I said, it's not okay ever to have a 10-on-1, have a bunch of people watching, egging people on and stuff like that. That's not okay. But for her to know this and go on and say the things she said and then think that nobody's going to speak out against it or anything like that is just next level to me. That is some brave audacity you got going on there, girl. So I'm going to insert here her detailed account of what happened.
Today, the principal of middle school in Jamestown, New York, told me that he would have my son call me when it's time for him to leave school. He had to work on a Spanish assignment. My son was expected to be at school until 4:45. It was 5 o'clock. I was getting worried. I hadn't received a phone call. I drive to the school. I call the school. No one's in the office. There's no answer. This is every mother's worst fear. Finally, my son called me in shambles. He had just been brutally attacked. He almost lost his life. There were 9 people jumping him, boys older than him, boys in the same grade as him. They lured him into the middle of the woods, surrounded by rock. They ripped his clothes off into his shreds. They stole his shoes off of his feet. They ripped the chain from his neck that I just bought him for good luck. They said they were going to take his life. And then they said if he tells anyone what happened to him, they're going to come to my house tonight and take his life. And I blame that principal for what happened today. He said that he would call me when my son is ready to leave middle school, and he never did. The school was responsible for him. The school was supposed to call me at 4:45 when my son was ready, but instead they didn't. They just let my son leave the building, and my son, just coincidentally, walked into a trap that was premeditated by those older boys, got brutally assaulted and robbed, and almost lost his life. And I need to move as soon as possible because those kids are planning to come to our house tonight. They threatened him. They said, if you tell anyone what happened, we're coming to your house tonight. And my son, he didn't have to say anything. I found them myself. I drove around. I saw the boy. I know who it was. I saw my shoes in his chest, my son's shoes. They were sitting on a porch. When they saw me slow down in my car, they sprinted across the street and ran away from me. So I followed them with my car. I got pictures of their faces, thankfully, and submitted all of that information to the authorities, but I'm more concerned about moving the hell out of this city. Crime is too high, it's too dangerous here. I'm moving out of state. The state of New York does not have our safety in mind. These kids can get away with committing crimes because it's illegal to put children in jail. I am terrified, and for our own safety, I'm not sharing any names. I posted a picture to try to identify the one boy who really brutally attacked my son, the worst. My son's shoulder is almost dislocated, his tooth is chipped, his ribs are bruised. If you were to see him, there's mud on his face. It looks like he was on the set of a zombie film. It's terrifying. And the craziest thing is I had a nightmare last night about my son, and I woke up with a panic attack crying with tears streaming down my face. I should have followed my instincts. I'm back at the hospital now. I'm moving. I'm putting this GoFundMe together. Anyone who wants to help, we need to move as soon as possible. Our lives are in danger, and I am terrified.
So as we know now, all of what she said there is a complete and total lie. We know that her son set up the fight, and he also threw the first 2 punches, which she magically edited out of the original video that she posted. And to do that, because the beginning shows him initiating the fight and also has a girl screaming, "That's what you get for touching me," is disgusting. And it goes to show that she knew exactly why this fight was going down, and she knew that her son was in the wrong, but went on to dox all these children. She showed them on camera to millions of people, their names, their faces. She even went so far as to show the front of one kid's house, which is insane to me, considering that people found her new house in about 10 minutes after she moved because she posted a picture outside of her new house. Come on, it's basic internet literacy. And if I was the parents of those children, I would be pissed if someone went and posted my children. I think it's dangerous. I think it's irresponsible, and children cannot give informed consent. It is their decision as to whether or not they want to be on a public social media platform. And now here she is posting other people's children to her massive following and making them out to be these thugs, these gangsters, these bad kids. It's too far, and it's not how any rational adult would act. Her behavior in this whole situation is too much. It's too far. And while she tries to rationalize that they tricked her son into throwing the first punch, we now know that he set up the fight. And at the end of the day, where are the parents? All this happens. She's dry begging for money. She says she needs money for this expense and that expense and this expense and that expense. Yet in between all of this, she brags about how she spent, I believe, upwards of $15,000 in 1 month. What? And that she pays for it all with her TikTok creator fund. And I saw one TikToker state, well, maybe just like don't spend extra money for a couple months and poof, there you go, 30 grand.
Hold on, wait. Adrielle's son did what? Adrielle Sigler, the creator. Her son did what? Okay, normally I don't come on here and talk about other creators, but this one just drives me insane. She really does. It's always something different with her. I blocked her, but she somehow still shows up on my FYP. Now, if you guys follow her or have seen anything, I'm sure you've seen that her son was jumped by like 7, 8, 9, 10 boys. It always changes, who knows? Nobody should be jumped by that many people, absolutely not. But that's not the whole story. Everything keeps unfolding as days go on. And also she has a GoFundMe for $30,000 because she's scared for her life, hers and her kid's life. So she wants out of where she's at and she wants to move. Don't know who needs $30K to move, but, and then she claims that she spends $17K a month. Okay, well, how about don't spend any extra money for 2-3 months and you'll have your own $30K. There you go.
Right? And even if it is an emergent move situation, it is not your followers' responsibility to completely fund your move. I said this in the last video. Well, first of all, has she not asked for an egregious amount of money? But 2, had she shown, hey guys, I'm putting money away, but we really need to get out of here. We're in danger. I don't feel safe. If you can help, here's the GoFundMe. But it wasn't even that. It was this expectation of social media is my job, therefore my followers have to fund my move 100%. Excuse you? And as I said, I can be there if social media is your job, if it's a slower month or if it's whatever, or if you're not making a ton of money and you ask your followers, hey, I'm hard up. Can you help out? I'm putting away this much money, but like, it's not enough. Whatever the case may be, right? There's different levels of urgency and emergency, right? But she didn't even do that. I don't know, but people fell for it and people donated. And then as people started to wake up to, oh, she lied about this whole fight and this is all a sham, people started getting their refunds back. But still, people were donating to it. And it makes you take a step back and think, why? Why? And then in the midst of all of this, she finds a place, they put down the deposit, and then she ends up in Florida on a solo mom vacation. But I thought you were so hard up for cash that you needed $30,000 for an emergency move. Yet in the middle of all this, you just take off and go on vacation? Oh, but I'm sure she really needed it. She really needed to get away from her problems in her super stressful life. Right? Makes sense. My bad. And ultimately, at the end of the day, influencers like this ruin it for people who are hard up for cash, who do need to use social media and crowdsourced funding for something important, like for surgery. I know a lot of you down in the States don't have health insurance coverage. If an emergent surgery comes up, you're paying out of pocket for that. That is crazy to me. So I understand that, you know, if something were to happen, emergencies happen, like, yeah, let's go help good causes. But then you have influencers like this who are like, no, I deserve all this money because I'm a social media influencer and you guys need to pay for me to move. And take advantage of their influence, of their following, and of these crowdfunding platforms. And it's just not okay. So next, before we get into some of the crazy storytime false accusation stuff, I want to touch on how this is going to impact her children and how her behaviors are going to impact her children and her various parenting failures, but also in this segment, I want to focus on family relationships and dynamics and how she treats her family because it's not okay. And this is also a huge thing for a lot of people that got them to get that ick taste in their mouth and say, no, I'm not following her anymore. I'm done. I'm taking back my social media currency. So I'm going to start with her just being downright verbally abusive to people in her family. Clip that I haven't seen yet that we're gonna go watch together. She is screaming at her grandmother. And I've seen a couple clips. There's this one clip that people are really upset about. Let's just go take a watch. How's that sound?
His room was a complete fucking mess. And now I'm running late because he couldn't remember his ski pass. This shit's like a $600 ski card. Why wouldn't he put it with his house key?
Doxing your entire neighborhood.
House key on his lanyard?
But we're so scared.
I get so upset when he does this. It's stressful. Like, do you understand how stressful it is to leave your house, to pick up your daughter, and then your son calls you and you have to turn around and FaceTime him and search through a messy room for a fucking ski pass? Like, why can't he be responsible? It makes me sick to my stomach. Even after a million fucking reminders, he just can't remember anything. It's like he has no memory.
What is going on?
I can't make a ski pass. So I can't pick up my daughter until I give him a ski pass. And I have this busted lip. My lip hurts so
Girl,
bad.
do you need a crisis line?
I just wish he would grow up. Yeah, I know, but what door do I drive to? Where your dances are? So his ski bus is at the opposite end of the building as his sister. So now his sister's gonna be waiting outside in the fucking cold.
Can't she wait in the school?
He didn't clean his room. Why are these people walking in the street? Why are these people in the street, man? There's a sidewalk on the left.
It's not paved. Okay.
Dude, there's cars coming and they're in the street. It's so annoying. I was just fine until
you're too stressed. That's your fault, not his.
When my kids do this, it stresses me out.
Sidewalk isn't plowed.
It's stressful.
You're annoying.
Well, obviously other people were walking on the side of the fucking building. I can't believe his room is such a mess. I'm gonna lose it. No wonder I can't find his ski pass. His room's a mess. How does this room get so messy in 48 hours, 24 hours? Why can't he just pick up after himself?
Teenager.
Oh, great. They're all getting on the bus.
That was a wild ride. Okay, not the one I was looking for. I gotta let a kitten in. Oh no. I knocked over my camera. It's fine, it's for the cat. Okay, this doesn't seem like something to flex.
Well, you call the cops?
I told you I called the cops, Grandma. Why can't people take me seriously? Don't you fucking get it? I could die.
I've been out of it because I've been so sick.
I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I'm just getting so...
Yikes.
Done with.
It's not over and done with.
I understand that, but people know about it. You already did that. You've been talking about it for almost 2 weeks. You know, maybe Sven gets upset when you keep on talking.
No, he doesn't. He said expose those kids who almost killed him as much as Grandma, I have to go.
Okay.
It's been 11 days.
It hasn't been 2 weeks, it's been 11 days. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. It's been a while since we had a kitty come visit. What are you gonna do? He's my best friend. He's gonna go lie on my sweater. So this video had a lot of people up in arms, her screaming at her grandmother. And we saw the one there briefly where she hung up on her. And she's constantly being rude and terrible like that towards her family members. But she's also said some really terrible things about and to her children. So we'll get into that a little bit, and also about other people's children. And this is just, I guess, an overall overview. Like I wanted to focus on like parenting fails and family relationships, but realistically she's just a terrible human being who treats everyone poorly, as you will see when we go into the her crossing boundaries segment of this video. So here we go, yelling at her grandmother. Trigger warning.
Okay! Do I go into your house? Do I have a key to your house? Do I check your mail? No! He's a full-blown moron. Like, I can't take it anymore. I can't wait for him to just crash his car and die. Like, I can't wait. Like, he just got a DWI and he's fighting it in court. And I actually wish that instead of a cop pulling him over, he would have flipped his car and had his head decapitated. That kid keeps slamming his fork. And you don't think your children are gonna grow up one day and see that? But okay, I didn't know this was a compilation video, because these are the other two really terrible things that she said about people or wishing ill on people. That was shocking. I wish he flipped his car and decapitated himself. I understand the frustration of dealing with someone who decided to drive drunk. Yeah, that's terrible. But wishing death on someone and then saying it out loud and posting it to public media, like, good God, it's like the filter's broken between the brain and I'm thinking this and the brain and I should or should not say this. Maybe that's the issue. The filter out of her mouth is broken. Yeah. She's saying the intrusive thoughts out loud. Yeah, all of them constantly. What? Okay, so here's her wishing ill on someone else's child at a restaurant. He keeps choking. Like, I'm just waiting for him to go into a cardiac arrest and he shuts the fuck up, honestly.
Okay, guess what I got now?
Like, don't give him the Heimlich maneuver.
Sorry, I was distracted by the comment. I just wish he would go into cardiac arrest so he shuts the fuck up. I don't understand how that phrase could come out of someone's mouth. How she thinks that's okay to say out loud in public on TikTok live. Is she live? I don't know. How did you get famous? Not being mean, just asking. I heard of you today and saw mixed comments.
Fucking cancer patient right now. Like, taking my antibiotic, my Tylenol, my ibuprofen.
And there was the last one of her comparing her cold to having cancer, which is another point that people were really disgusted by, because if you have ever watched someone go through cancer treatments, suffer pass away from cancer, you know what it's like, and you know how horrific and awful the disease is and how it destroys your body and how the medicine destroys your body. Making comments like this are not okay, and she's just completely tactless. Either she knows what she's saying and doing it as rage bait, which that in itself isn't okay, or she has no idea what is socially acceptable and socially unacceptable to say out loud. And the fact that she's gained a following behaving like this is insane. It's crazy. It makes no sense. I don't understand why people follow her. I don't know what world we live in. It is time to send the asteroid. Thank you to exposing Adrielle on TikTok for those receipts, because those were important receipts. Oh my God. I can't believe she said those things. Again, she's saying these things. She's got no filter. She's got nothing going for her. Let's be realistic. But she also makes a lot of posts complaining about being a mom and how much she hates being a mom. I mean, we saw the one video there that I hadn't seen before of her going because her son forgot his ski pass. I'm sorry. Why did you not ensure as he was going out the door, hey, you have this, you have this, you have this. Okay, cool. Bye. Have a good day. That's your job as a parent, to ensure that your kids have everything that they need for the day before they go out the door. Regardless of reminders, your son has a messy room. You think you telling him to remember to bring something is going to actually work if you just say, hey, don't forget this? No, because he's got 80,000 things to scan and filter and get distracted by that he's gonna forget his pass. Why was it not clipped on his jacket the night before? It just take accountability for your actions as a mother. These poor kids, man. So here's one. Imagine having to make videos for a living and people constantly interrupt you when you're trying to film. Girl, I feel you. At this point, I'm ready to snap. It's so GD frustrating every time I think I finally have alone time to film or stream. It's either someone walking in the room, calling my name, or knocking on my door. I seriously need a private, uninterrupted space where I'm guaranteed no interruptions, dude. I want to cry. I'm so mad. I get it. I do get it, because I am also a content creator who films during the day with all of her children at home. So I get it. I am not a single mom. However, my filming schedule has had to shift because my husband is now on days. So yeah, what am I doing? Utilizing screen time right now. And the baby's in bed. Right? You have to make it work with what you got, or find another job. It's not your children's fault that this is what you chose to do for work. And they shouldn't be suffering because of it. And it sounds like, my belly's going crazy. It sounds like there's some mismanaging of priorities here. Just saying. There's another one I saved. Being a single mom with no babysitter, living in a city with no other children is suffocating. You live in a city with no other children? Whoa, that is crazy, girl. Like, sorry for you, I guess. Hopefully that's what she looked into before the next city. I don't know. Anyway, my kids haven't met any decent friends whose houses they're comfortable to sleep at. Maybe my son has met one kid. My daughter trusts no one because the city is literally filled with scumbags.
Maybe the people of Jamestown, New York are not jealous of you. Maybe they despise the fact that you make generalized statements about the entire city being one giant scumbag gang. Maybe.
My kids have no friends' houses to sleep over at. We have cabin fever. We're around each other constantly, 24/7. It's crazy being around each other like this constantly. It's healthy to get a break from each other, but there's literally nowhere for my kids to go. The weather is below freezing. There's nowhere for them to go away for a couple of days to get a break from being in the house besides go shopping or to restaurants. This city sucks. She was prefacing straight from the beginning that she needed to move and that the city sucks and that it's a disaster and her life is a disaster, evidently. Constant complaining about the mundane tasks of motherhood, and I feel like we can all kind of be there. Sure, motherhood is hard sometimes and exhausting and a very demanding and very thankless job, but it sounds to me like she regrets becoming a mom and that her kids are this huge inconvenience, this big burden. And what is that doing to the psyche of her following, who are young teenagers mostly? It's not doing anything healthy for them. It's not showing a proper parent-child relationship. And to a certain extent, it's good to share the overwhelmed parts, the too much parts. But it's her entire personality basically hating being a mom. And I don't think that's okay. And sure, circumstances and stuff, like she might have this or that or this or that. It's really gross, and it's going to be really harmful for her children when they grow up and see that this is how their mom feels about them. And realistically, they already know based off of the way that she talks to them and the way she treats them. It's not okay. So they already know and are still going to suffer as they grow up. And what is this going to do? She's already admitted that some of her son's friends follow her. So seeing this kind of stuff, these comments and posts are going to be weaponized for bullying. That's what it's going to end up. Oh, your mom doesn't love you. Oh, your mom this, she complains about you all the time. She hates, like, that's what it's going to end up being, especially if her children act like entitled brats, like selfish, rich, spoiled brats. That's probably why your children have no friends. And it's not the kids' fault. It's never the kids' fault. They didn't choose this life. They didn't choose this mother. They didn't choose this career path for their mom. It's never the kids' fault. But if they're going to school acting like this, people are going to get annoyed. It's human behavior. And jealousy is a sin for a reason. And it's very hard, especially as young children or teenagers, to deal with the jealous emotion. And when you see a kid come in with these brand new clothes and shoes and AirPods and all the top of the line stuff, and then he's not acting humble and he's not acting grateful, he's just acting like an entitled brat, that is where people get upset and annoyed and start to not like people. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but the fact that they had to move because her son assaulted upwards of 4 girls and got in a fight and probably got suspended from school. All of this, that they had to move because of that, and she's trying to play it off as they're just jealous. You gotta read between the lines of, okay, what's going on at school? Because frankly, even if people are super jealous, I don't think that they lure people into the woods to beat the crap out of them and rob them and jump them, especially 14-year-old kids. Maybe I'm out of touch, maybe I'm sheltered and bubbled, but it wasn't just he got jumped. It was literally planned. You have to start questioning things like that so you don't get scammed. All right, my baby just woke up, so I'm gonna have to pause this here and we will continue later when my husband gets home. I don't know. No one will continue this. Okay, hi guys. We are on day 2 of filming the Adrielle deep dive. Welcome back to me, I guess, because you guys will have still been here. So we went through a little bit about how she talks about her children and what she posts on social media and stuff like that, constantly complaining about the tasks of motherhood and being a mom and yada, yada, yada. But one of the bigger accusations that I think is really going to have a harsh impact on her son particularly is that she says that he's a product of grape. You can drop the G. And to say that out loud online to millions of people, and she also went so far as to call him a permanent trauma, which is insane that someone could say that out loud about their son. And I understand, no, I don't even understand. I was gonna say, like, I understand whatever, being upset and yada yada, raising awareness. No, I don't even understand why someone would think it's okay to go on and say this. And if it's not true, that means that she's completely throwing her ex under the bus, making these crazy allegations. And that's messed up. That is messed up. Those are allegations that can severely harm someone's future, their reputation, whatever the case may be. And those kinds of statements can have really long-term impacts. For her son, growing up, and I'm sure he's heard it before, just based off of her behaviors and how she acts as a mother and what she shows us online, how she talks to them and stuff, I'm sure they all know that she resents them. She's constantly snapping at them. There was one video that I have saved here that we'll take a look at where she's literally complaining about being interrupted. So again, I showed you the post earlier where she's like, I just want 5 minutes to film. Imagine being a content creator and you're constantly disturbed, which, like, yeah, I know the feeling. But like, there's another video where she's on live and she's literally complaining to her following that her kids never leave her alone, and then brags about how much money she just made and then flips off her audience. I don't know. It's a very weird dynamic, as is the entire Adrielle lore. Here is the video of her complaining about her kids and stuff. So yeah, let's take a listen.
Go to my room and come back in there. I'd go back to my room and come back in there. I'd be cleaning and they just don't stop. I don't know how to get them to stop. It's terrible. And they want this attraction, this restaurant, this. They want all this fucking things that cost money, but then when it's time for me to work and earn an income, they don't respect it. Like, what time is it? It's been live for an hour and 40 minutes. I've made $215. So for those of you who say I don't earn an income, I've made $215 in an hour and 40 minutes. So suck on that. Next, I'm gonna reset.
Yeah, good idea. She's constantly saying stuff like that around her kids, about her kids, and she's posting it to the internet, and all of this stuff will live on forevermore on the internet. She stated that her son is a product of being R-worded when she was 16, 17 years old. Here's what's going on. The Sisterhood, Daughters of Narcissistic and Abusive Mothers, Adrielle Sigler. April 30th, 2019, she posted in this group, which is very interesting that she acknowledges that she's a daughter of a narcissistic mother, an abusive mother, but doesn't realize the fact that she is also a narcissistic, abusive mother. Funny how that works, but I guess when Redditors were saying the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, they weren't lying. I don't know. I haven't seen her mom very often or interactions. I saw her once with like the whole fight thing. I don't know. My biggest trouble is being assertive, identifying what things I should act assertively about in the first place. The culprit. I experienced a trauma at age 16. Then I experienced a life-changing, permanent trauma at 17, 18 years old. I'm 28 and struggling. I never grew past those ages once the trauma hit me with the impact of a truck. Yeah, that's evident. And when I started doing more research on Adrielle and stuff and found out that she had trauma around the age of 16, 17, 18 years old, it kind of makes sense why she acts like a 16, 17, 18-year-old. You see it a lot, especially with teen moms or whatever the case may be. If there's trauma, people get developmentally stuck at that stage in life. And if you take a step back and look at her behaviors, they're not behaviors of a 33-year-old, they're behaviors of a teenager. However, she says that she used to be severely overweight, as we saw in the clip. I believe I'd already played the clip. I don't know, this video is a mess. But she says that, what was I gonna say? Which clip was I gonna talk about?
And I never faced the type of jealousy hot women get until I lost 80 pounds and became a hot girl myself.
To say something like that about your child, though, it's so unacceptable. And then to go on social media and say that, how do you think he is going to feel when he grows up and sees his mom talks about him like this and he's already hearing it? Also, I just thought of this. If your son is a product of grape and then, he's now assaulting girls, maybe it's time to get him into some therapy, like right now, before he does something and creates a permanent trauma on another girl, which he already has. It doesn't matter what he did, how far he went, how far he didn't. It doesn't matter. He has changed the girls' lives for the rest of their life. They are going to have a hard time trusting men, trusting boys, trusting that they're safe, especially if it happened during sleep. That is so violating. And wow. And then she just completely lets him skirt accountability 100%. And it's insane. Her behaviors are crazy. Ultimately, saying crap like that on the internet about your children is going to have long-term emotional effects on them. They're going to feel unwanted and unloved, and God knows they probably already do. And the kids are starting to talk back now to her and stand up for themselves and tell her off, especially because she is filming 24/7. Nobody is safe in the house to just be themselves because they're constantly in front of a million eyes. Even if the kids aren't the main focus, You see how aggressive she gets if she gets interrupted, or her just like spewing about how annoyed she is by getting interrupted constantly, right? Another really problematic thing with Adrielle, before we get into the false accusations, because those are the really big ones. Obviously, her being raped when she was a teenager is a huge allegation, but we can't confirm right now if it's false, right? However, her son does have his father's last name. And a lot of people kind of picked up on that and were like, what now? Because it doesn't matter who you are. If that baby is a product of that, you're not keeping the father's last name. You're not giving it the father's last name. There's no way. No way. No way. Unless they were in a relationship together and common law. Then there's a bit more way, but you wouldn't pay to have that changed if because of this permanent trauma and living like with the baby being a permanent trauma, but also still carrying the father's last name 14 years later. To each his own, I guess. Like, I don't know, name changes here are only $100. Like, it's not that whatever. To each their own, I suppose. But the hypersexualized behavior is one that I want to touch on because it's so gross. Her going on here with teenagers as children and doing the things that she does it's nasty. And these poor kids have to go to school in a social media day and age where all kids are on social media, especially teenagers from like the age of the minute they're allowed social media. And they have to live with the consequences of what their mother puts online. People aren't bullying your son because they're jealous of him, because you're a social media influencer. People are bullying your son because you are ridiculous online. And the content you put out is disgusting and silly and immature, and that of a 17-year-old. And the fact that you are aware that you don't act your own age and still do not try and improve upon that is next level. Is she in therapy? Because she clearly needs to be. Like this, it's just... So I want to show you guys two pretty recent videos that she posted to her TikTok, and then she went live looking like this. And then I want to show you one TikTok that another creator 100% called her out on. Like, why are you dressed like that? You're a mom. You're an adult. Like, stop it. She posts this like role-playing content and all this super weird, cringy stuff. And it's like, okay, this is TikTok. This isn't OnlyFans. And your fan base is primarily children. Underage children. That is who she's being a thirst trap for. That is who she is hypersexualizing herself for. Little teenage boys. And I'm sorry, but that's not okay. It's not okay. Especially being a mom, but also just being an adult in general. Why are you seeking this kind of attention from children? That makes no sense. It's predatory and disgusting. And as I said in the last clip, 2 days ago. Well, 2 days ago now, she got caught interacting with minors and giving advice to minors, parenting advice, medical advice, advice not to follow their parents and what their parents have to say, stuff like that. And it's like, how dare you? How dare you? Do you not realize how dangerous that is and those kind of behaviors are? And how creepy that is that you're in a chat with a bunch of teenagers? Hello? Do we not all remember what happened like 6 months ago with Colleen Ballinger? Actually, that might have been a lot longer than 6 months ago now. That might be going on a year. I think that's like a while ago. But just recently with Colleen Ballinger and Miranda Sings getting called out for being a predator, for being a groomer. Why is this acceptable on social media? Why are we allowing these types of people to be and remain influencers? I don't get it. Maybe at the beginning when she was just like this real raw mom, like no holds barred mom, sure, maybe I can be there with you. But then with all the aggression, the hypersexualization, the dramatization, and like just the lying and calling those little girls liars as well to like save her son's face. No, It's too much. It's too far. So, I believe I saved them. They're really creepy and weird, so buckle up. Cringy.
9 p.m. Click the pink circle. I'm going live in detention. I don't care what my teacher says. Detention lasts for 30 minutes. It's just not fair. I didn't do anything wrong. First, I fell asleep in class. Okay, it was boring. Spanish sucks. Then I go to detention and this teacher just wants me there every day. I swear to God. He told me no cell phones in detention. I forgot to put my phone in silent mode. It went off. I wasn't even using it. So he gave me another detention. And now here I am today. So I guess I'll see you soon. I hope it's not the same teacher as last time. If he's the nice teacher, I'll twirl my hair. If he's the mean teacher, I'll pull my nose. I really hope it's not the mean teacher. I'm so sick of him telling me I have to come back to detention. This is also a registered TikTok live campaign, Road to Superstars, and that's my very first battle in Road to Superstars. So I appreciate all of you who are supporting me in my journey on TikTok Live.
Nope, I'm not supporting you on your journey on TikTok Live. Congrats. So that was one, and then I don't know if the other one's different. It is. It is. So this one says, imagine being a teenager and this is your mom.
Oh, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby. How was I supposed to know that something wasn't right?
That's enough. I'm good. I'm good. 20 seconds, more than enough. We don't need to give her the last 10. Good job singing Britney Spears. That's Ako Taco. And then here's this other clip after, well, it was that night on TikTok Live or battling or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how it works. They go on and they just sit there and stare at each other and like eat food. This is what I've noticed the couple times that I've witnessed a battle thing where people are online. Anyway, but here's this TikTok. I thought it was hilarious, or this clip of this live, sorry. I thought it was hilarious because this woman totally roasts her, and you can just see her face go through all the emotions. Like, I think this lady's kidding. Oh shit, that was harsh. Oh, maybe she's not. Oh, and it's so funny. So take a look.
Gift or bad. Nice to
Can
meet
you tell me something? Hi. How many people do you have in your life?
600.
600, really? Okay, somebody from my chat, go and check, because I think you have 12 people. Go and check. Πόσα άτομα έχει αυτή? Go and check how many people she has. How many people?
630.
How many people? Πόσους έχεις? Πηγαίνετε να δείτε πόσα άτομα έχει.
Thanks, Ike.
And why did you lose the battle?
Because we didn't snipe.
No, because you look like an OnlyFans person. You show your skin, which is not okay, and I still won the battle because I don't show skin. Why are you showing you're a woman? Why are you showing your skin to the sugar daddies? That is not okay.
My top here are women.
Why are you showing your skin?
They're
Why?
all women. These are all women.
They're probably lesbians. Why are you showing your skin like that?
Oh, now we're really gonna put it on your head.
Can you just dress?
Screen.
Can you just dress up?
Now?
No, I don't want to see you. I don't like seeing you. You showed your boobs. You already lost. You had your chance. Why you look like an OnlyFans person? Go get a job. Like, I beat you and I'm not even showing skin. Look, this is why my people love me. I don't have to show my boobs. And I'm more good looking than you. You're not even, you look like Miss Piggy. Ella, bye.
I'm vegan. I love pigs. Pigs are very smart animals.
Isn't that ridiculous? But like, she's got a point. Why are you dressed like this? Who are you trying to attract? And basically her entire TikTok is a Tinder profile, which is gross and cringy and weird and disturbing. And you're kids. You have kids. Who cares if you regret having them or don't want them there or whatever? They exist and they deserve better than their mom being a thirst trap, gross, trashy person on the internet. I'm sorry. Kids deserve better than that. Good Lord. Overall, she's giving poor parenting advice and is just not making good life decisions. And she is definitely showing a lot of narcissistic personality traits. And her kids are going to be the one that suffer at the end of the day. They really are. They're going to grow up and absolutely hate her. They're already starting to call her out. They're starting to ask her to stop filming. They're asking her to whatever. Her one child, I believe the one she does not have custody of, her younger daughter, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, she's constantly displaying like attention-seeking type behavior, so singing row row your boat over and over again while she's on live stream and stuff like that. So I believe that's the most important stuff that I wanted to cover when it comes to things she's done and said about her children. And it's just, at the end of the day, you have your kids to think about, and it's not okay to, I don't know, it's just not a responsible way to act as a parent. And it's really sad for the kids. So the last thing I want to cover is the false allegations. And these are a huge point of contention for a lot of people, because you can really ruin someone's life. And there's a couple big ones. And I also want to touch on her just crossing boundaries when it comes to filming, because you can put someone's life at risk. You can put their job, their career at risk for a false allegation. And it kind of shows the level of paranoia that she has, and the mental health aspect of it all, and how scary that really is. So there's a couple big ones that I want to touch on. There's one with her neighbor. There's one where she claims a state trooper is stalking her. And there's another one where she claims an alleged kidnapping. And then finally, I want to wrap up the video talking about the coffee shop incident, because that's kind of like false allegations and crossing boundaries and everything, and was a big point of contention for a lot of people. We'll start with the neighbor incident. Essentially what she heard, and I saw one video where she was talking about how she doesn't feel safe because there's constant screaming coming from, I believe, across the street from what she thinks is the basement. And of course, we got to remember her true crime sleuthing abilities and the fact that she's like a certified true crime sleuther. So obviously, these screams are coming from the basement, and it's a woman being held hostage.
On June 25th, I heard a woman screaming across the street from my house. Bro, what the do you hear this? Tell me you hear this. Hold on. Dude, it's... Please, whatever it is. It's like this intense screeching. I couldn't catch it on camera, so I ignored it. On July 1st, I heard the same scream. I called the police. The man told the police, that's my pet chihuahua. It screams when I put it in a crate. I let it go because there's nothing I could do. That was July 1st. And the following week, July 9th, I heard an even worse scream for help. I called the police. The police spoke with the man. He claims it was his chihuahua again in a crate, screaming. I uploaded the video of the scream, and you guys found the chihuahua in the window because she can hear it too. There's that scream again. I just heard the scream. As the scream goes down, the chihuahua's mouth is closed on the front porch. I got so stressed over this, I had to go out of town for a few days. No, the police have not been in the basement. No, the police have not searched the house. This is happening in Jamestown, New York. I don't know who the man is that lives in the house. Searching his address, a different person comes up, a young 21-year-old girl. And two elderly people from Puerto Rico who literally moved out last year are still listed as the current owners. The house was sold in November 2022. If I continue hearing screams, I will continue recording it. So far, it's a pattern that happens every 6 to 8 days. I'm going back home tonight, and I can assume I won't hear the scream for another 4 or 5 days, since it happens every 6 to 8 days. I know that you're watching this vicariously through my TikTok, but it has been terrifying living across from a house with screams coming out from what I feel is the basement or the first level floor.
Turns out it was a chihuahua, which is hilarious and also scary and ridiculous and a complete and total waste of resources, which is really funny because just the other day she posts this.
Wasted so many public resources and terrified my elderly grandparents. My former home in Jamestown, New York was swatted. And I see videos circulating already on social media, Facebook. So I'm here to address it and make a public statement. It is not acceptable to break the law, call in false reports, and waste so many resources. The whole block was filled and surrounded by police. They had their megaphones. My grandma told me that all the neighbors came out. Everyone was really scared. And the police were really concerned because they received false calls to my old address, making a false report like that to law enforcement that had wasted the resources of the sheriff's department, the state police, and city police is a criminal offense. I was given very limited information about what the call entailed.
and I'm unsure if the person who made the false call will be facing legal repercussions. However, I did get in touch with Jamestown Police Department.
So it's really funny for her to go on and say and spew all this stuff about wasted resources when you waste resources. And also to touch on swatting, I don't care how much you hate someone, swatting is not okay. It's never okay. Taking stuff that real world, it doesn't even matter how much you despise someone. Calling in a fake swatting attempt is too far. I'm all for calling people out for the call out culture, cancellation culture when it's, necessary in certain circumstances, but swatting people, calling the cops, calling CPS on them without actual evidence is a total waste of resources, and it can be potentially very dangerous. If you have a nervous child who panics during a swatting attempt, if you have a dog or an animal who's nervous during a swatting attempt, really bad things can happen really fast. Please, if you are a person who thinks it's okay to swat people, get off the internet and go give your head a shake. Go get some therapy yourself, because no, it's not okay. It's not okay. But I found that video to be very ironic, because she's talking about wasting police resources when she is constantly doing that, or any other resources. So cool. And the next thing I want to discuss, because she alleges that a state trooper started stalking her because of a viral video that she posted. Now I want you to take a look at this viral video that she posted, and it's her being pulled over by a state trooper. She's very, very aggressive and very defensive, and I know that's kind of who she is. She's a very aggressive, reactive, defensive person, and suffers from a little bit of paranoia. Just a little bit. So here's the clip of her, the initial clip of her being pulled over, which went viral.
I'm getting pulled over.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Alright, state police, you have a license on you?
I have my driver's license.
Okay. Alright, so listen, you know why I'm stopping you?
I ran the amber. It wasn't red yet. I was under it.
It was red, dear, because I was in the intersection there and it was red for me, so it was definitely red for you. Alright, where are you coming from now?
The gym.
The gym?
Yeah.
Which gym do you go to?
Planet Fitness.
Okay, it's 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like a key fob to get in?
No, there's employees.
No? 24/7 there's employees? Okay.
On Mondays through Thursdays.
Oh, okay. Do they still do like the pizza parties every now and then?
I'm vegan, so I don't care if they do.
Alright, do you have the registration on your car?
No.
No.
I mean, like physically?
Yeah. Do you live in PA or do you live out here now?
I live in Jamestown now. I just moved here.
I got you.
I hate to say this, but I don't know.
If you have it, I'll grab it. If not, then don't worry about it.
Do you mind? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can look it up.
I'm
Who's it
insured through.
registered to?
It's me.
You?
It's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back with you.
It was Amber. It was Amber. Amber. It was Amber. I'm getting so angry. I hope I don't get a ticket. I'm so mad. I can't afford a ticket. That is such BS. It was yellow. It was yellow.
So after that, she posts a story time and says, "This cop is stalking me." So here's that video of her explaining just how the cop is stalking her, and this video that she has of dash cam, which is funny how it's like the poorest quality on the planet, because like, is it your phone? Because if it's your phone, then why is it such terrible quality? It always makes me giggle how these like big hard-hitting pieces of evidence are always filmed with a potato. Okay. So here's the video of her explaining that she's now being harassed by a state trooper.
A state trooper is stalking me. Ever since I posted this viral video on Facebook a few nights ago when I was pulled over, he keeps driving past me when I'm leaving the gym, and it happened again tonight. And I was like, I'm going to turn around the block and see where he's going. And he disappeared like a shark. So I'm like, I drive back towards my gym. I'm like, is he like waiting for me to get out of the gym? But I couldn't find him. So I started driving home. I gave up, and look what happened.
That's the state trooper. That's the state trooper. That was the state. That was the state trooper. He just made a U-turn. He made a U-turn. It's the state trooper, and he's right behind me, and he made a U-turn.
I can't make this up. Oh, this is crazy. I'm so glad you guys told me to record it. He's pulling me over. I can't make it up, and I got it on film this time. I got it on film. I told you. I told you. Oh, I'll be right back.
Hi, officer. I'm good. How about you?
Do you have your license on you?
Yeah.
So listen, I'm just happy you didn't have your seatbelt back on there, Adrielle. Did you have your seatbelt on the whole time?
I do.
Oh, okay. All right. Where you headed to? Back to PA?
No, I'm going home.
Okay. All right. You're all set.
Oh, okay.
I'll see you.
Thank you.
He pulled you over probably because you threw him under the bus and said that he was not doing his job properly when you're the one who ran a red light originally. You do know that yellow means slow down and prepare to stop, not speed up to get through the red light. You know that, right? And I understand that it was late at night and you had an epic workout and this ruined your whole day, but maybe don't run red lights. I'm sure the reason he pulled you over the next time was because you posted a viral video about him that was accusatory and untrue. So we circle back to like the audacity of these influencers to go on their platforms and lie and think that no consequences are ever going to come of them. The freaking audacity of them. It's insane. And not just that, but imagine had she taken this any further. And I don't know if there's more to this incident. I've had a really hard time trying to compile receipts surrounding the cop incident, but honestly, it's such an icky feeling. And it's like, what's your goal in the end, right? What's your goal in the end? And that leads us to our next false allegation where she falsely accused someone of kidnapping. So I'm just going to go ahead and let her roll her true crime sleuthing abilities.
This is the woman, this is the young man. They were in New York driving a dealer car. It stood out to me because he had this covering his face. But when I scoped out the car, I noticed something peculiar. It was a dealer vehicle. So when I looked in the window, I saw a business card from Berkeley Springs. Is that West Virginia or Wyoming? Morgan County. I think that says West Virginia, not Wyoming. So I Googled Morgan County, Berkeley Springs, and that is located in West Virginia. He was moving in close on her. I decided to approach them. When I approached them, she said she's okay. She nodded. Yep. And he nodded. But something didn't look okay. It never looks okay when an elderly woman is driving a car and there's a man next to her wearing a face covering. I want to know why he would take it off to enter the store. Now, there has been a woman who looks similar to her, but I don't think she's 101 pounds and I don't think she's 78. That wouldn't explain this business card from Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. If we can figure out this business card, we might figure out if one of them is a missing person. Also, the visor of that vehicle had this thing clipped to it. I'm not sure if that means anything. I wish I knew what that pen said.
So, yeah, that's what she, just her logic. Her logic makes no logic. Logic makes no logic. She accused this son of kidnapping his mother. And they spoke out about it, and here's her response to that.
If I wouldn't have posted this to social media, I wouldn't have had an answer or figured out who the people were to see if they were okay. Social media is a tool, whether you like it or not. How do you expect me, a bystander, a concerned citizen, a complete stranger on the outside, to come up with all the facts without reaching out for a little help? Had I not reached out, I wouldn't have figured out who these people were. Luckily, they're safe. Alternatively, if they happen to be missing persons, and I shared that story, their face would have been out there and we would have had a lead of where they were. You can't get angry at someone who's a complete stranger and bystander and a concerned citizen for other safety. It's not my fault that your family is taking advantage of the fact that they have dealer cars and they can use dealer plates to avoid and circumvent paying for a vehicle registration and inspection and legitimate plates. If I were you, I would quit getting so defensive over my family's fraudulent business because it's not a good look. You should say thank you. I'm glad that you were hyper-vigilant in our city that has high crime rates where 1 in 28 people have a chance of becoming victim of a crime. We're in Jamestown, New York. We're not in rural Vermont. This is a city with high crime. Goodbye.
But no, I'm sorry. You can't sit there and be like, I'm a concerned citizen. You can't sit there and be like, whatever. I'm looking out for you. You should be thanking me. No, because you thought he kidnapped his mother because of the color of his skin. Because I guarantee if it was two Caucasian people walking into that establishment, this would not have happened. But because it was a biracial couple, not couple, like couple of people, you went off and went on this, oh, something nefarious must be happening. Do you not realize how dangerous that is? To talk about harassment with this whole cop incident and how showing that people like you can get harassed. I'm sorry, imagine being a person of color who has to deal with police harassment on a daily basis when they are actually innocent from crime or not doing anything. And they have to make sure that they drive the exact speed limit and they stop for 3 seconds at every stop sign. And God forbid they run a yellow light, they might get shot. And I wish I was being over dramatic, but that's the world we live in. And for you to go and accuse this young man of kidnapping this older woman, you don't think that there's potential consequences behind that? And a potential big consequence behind that? To me, this was not about being a concerned citizen. It was about clout. It was about Adrielle trying to find this big, hard-hitting story, trying to crack a case so she can go viral on the internet. And that's not okay. It's not okay. You could have put their lives at big risk by doing this. Now, thank God the young man reached back out. He responded, and I just showed you her response to his response. But I can't believe she did that. I genuinely am dumbfounded at the fact that she just saw this couple get out of the car and go to the grocery. Like, I couldn't even imagine if that was me. I despise going to the grocery store. I try not to go to the grocery store. I get my groceries delivered because it's like sanity and so much easier and also saves a lot of money, but that's just like my little side tangent. I cannot fathom going to the grocery store and then my friends contacting me that I'm on some rando bitch's TikTok because she thinks that I kidnapped my kids or my husband or something, or my husband kidnapped me or whatever. I could not imagine the whirlwind that would send you through. And it's like, obviously these people knew that it was BS and were like, whatever. And nothing came of it. They were just like, okay, whatever. But making false accusations like this and trying to start stuff that doesn't exist is just not okay. It's not. And it gets to a certain point where it's like, mind your own business. And if you don't know what's going on, maybe don't say anything. And the fact that they acted so nonchalant when you allegedly approached them and asked if everything was okay, and they said, yep, just goes to show that you're wrong in this situation and that you went to hopefully last attempt. Goodness, this video, I tell you, is a disaster. Okay, so I am back to attempt this again. Yeah, it's been a time. Evidently, when you get a phone call, your recording pauses, and I was unaware of this. So went on my merry way and finished the video without hitting record or resume recording at least. So lessons learned, here we are. But as I was saying before all that happened was I was talking about the fact that she accused a son of kidnapping his mother, and it's just not your place. And it is so evident that you went way too far with the situation and kind of just, you twisted it. And yeah, it's just absolutely not okay. It was 100% crossing a boundary by filming them in public, people who did not give your consent to be filmed or photographed, and to film the inside of someone else's car. And that kind of brings us to our final topic, I believe, hopefully, which is crossing boundaries when it comes to filming and filming in public or around other people. And she was asked to stop filming is the infamous coffee shop incident. So we're going to get into it. I found a couple really good receipts, but essentially what had happened is she went to this coffee shop all the time, and one day the owners very meanly and maliciously came up to her and discriminated solely against her and asked just her to stop filming. Nobody else in the store had to stop filming, just her. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Adrielle has to say about it. All right, so here she is freaking out about being kicked out of the coffee shop, but listen to what she says before she walks in.
Okay, now I'm gonna go raise hell in the coffee shop. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Oh no! I have it. Okay, I thought I didn't have my credit card for a minute.
Thank goodness you have it.
You guys ready to watch everyone turn their head and look at me? No, I'm just kidding. I don't understand!
bothering no one. And half the time I'm in there, the coffee shop is empty anyway. It's like calm and quiet. There's like maybe one person. Sometimes I've been the only customer in there. There have been times. You can continue coming in here as a customer, but no more recording. Why? What is, like, I just don't understand what goes through their heads.
She's an influencer, don't you know? So that was the one that I found. Here's another good one.
As other customers were trying to enjoy their coffee, I was whispering.
Here is the amazing compilation by Avella47, Avella Grace on TikTok. And this is a really good summary of the entire saga that is Adrielle's coffee shop drama.
I just need some coffee and
We love having you as a customer, but we no longer want our business to be part of your vlogs. How is this fair? A local coffee shop owner told me, you're not allowed to record in here anymore. You can come in here as a customer, but no more filming. How could she say that to me and not everyone else? Like, how come people in a small town think that one rule can only apply to me, but not everyone else?
This is the last sip of iced coffee
Sad panda.
that I'll ever take again from a local coffee shop.
I'm the owner of this coffee shop,
Okay, and?
and I don't like your TikTok page, so you're not allowed to open your camera in my coffee shop.
I have a funny feeling that that's not how it went down. However, I believe that they don't like your TikTok page.
How did the coffee shop discriminate against me? The coffee shop discriminated me against my job. They were actively discriminating me against my job, and I'll explain how. They said it's more than acceptable for people working to utilize their phones, cameras, take photos, videos, whatever that business person needs to do. They told me I can't take photos or videos while I'm in their coffee shop because they...
When did they say it was okay for anyone to use their phones, cameras, and work however they want? And also, pretty sure that doesn't mean that you can get up and dance through a coffee shop or take pictures and videos with people in the background and show the entire coffee shop in the background. I think that's a little bit more disruptive for people, but that's just me. That's just me.
Because they don't want my work associated with their business. That's discrimination. I'm in their coffee shop working on my job. The same sense a lawyer is in their coffee shop working on his job. So the fact that...
Except a lawyer usually isn't a POS human being who's being disruptive and filming other people without their consent. So, okay.
These business owners discriminate against me doing my job, but they didn't discriminate against the lawyer sitting next to me, is discrimination. You are a business owner. All of your customers are equal. If one customer is a vlogger and the other customer is a chiropractor, they're all equal and they're all to be treated equally. You can't make specific rules that discriminate against classes of people. Most of the time when I was in their coffee shop, I wasn't actively filming. I was editing my content, transferring content to my other platforms, etc. And sometimes I would make videos and it would just be me. I was focusing on myself and my coffee, sharing my positive experience. All of that changed one day.
Okay, but just because you're focusing on yourself doesn't mean that everybody else goes away. You know that, right? This must be a narcissistic brain, because I don't know how you can be so self-absorbed that you think that filming and being disruptive and dancing around a coffee shop is only affecting your life, and how nobody else would be annoyed or anything about that. I don't, okay.
When I was recording a video of my coffee, and the owners marched over to me and said, we are no longer permitting you to film in our place of business because they're discriminating against my work, but they're not discriminating against another person's work. That is a discrimination lawsuit, and I'm waiting for the lawyer to call me back. How did the coffee shop discriminate? So I was at this coffee shop back in November of 2023, sitting by myself with an iced coffee. I get my phone out, I open Snapchat, and I go, this coffee is the best. And I upload the video to Snapchat. I put my phone under my butt because I sit on my phone, and I take my other phone out to start doing some work because I edit videos. Two people approach me. They start walking up to me, a young couple in their mid-20s. The guy shakes my hand, tells me his name, and I had already seen the woman because she works there. Turns out they're the owner.
And I bet, given what we've seen with the whole cop interaction and stuff like that, when people approach her, she's immediately reactive. So I bet the other half of the story is that she was super, super rude to the coffee shop owners when they approached her. And I don't know. I'm surprised that she's not claiming assault because the guy shook her hand, for goodness sakes.
Their husband and wife. They sit down, and the woman tells me, we don't want you recording in our coffee shop anymore. I said, what do you mean? I'm sitting in front of this coffee shop, and I could go for an iced coffee right now, but I can't get an iced coffee at this coffee shop because the owners were rude to me one day, and they totally...
But they didn't say that you couldn't get a coffee. They said you couldn't film. They said, come in, have a coffee if you want. You're still more than welcome to be here. You said that in your first video, but you're not allowed to film. So you absolutely can't go get a nice coffee.
I snapped when I was taking a selfie,
And they were like, we don't want you opening your camera here ever again. I'm like, well, these people are, well, you can't, but everyone else can, essentially. Like, there's not a no camera.
Essentially, read between the lines. That's not what happened. There was probably someone FaceTiming just them over in the corner quietly by themselves, minding their own business. There's no way that they're just like, yeah, well, they can film and they can film, but like you can't film. Nah. I don't believe you when you say that, but okay.
I was like, yeah, because we allow cameras. Just you can't open your camera. I'm like, oh, okay. So I walked out. But guess what? I just remembered. They had a rewards program with stars, and I had like almost 1,000. So that means, technically, I could go in there and get a coffee for free with my rewards because I never redeemed my rewards. They owe me.
And they never said you couldn't. Why is she twisting this, making it something else? Like, they literally never said you couldn't go in. This is annoying.
But I just won't get coffee. It's fine. I haven't had coffee in days because I've been sick anyway. So I feel like you know you're sick if you don't get coffee. Like, if the thought of having coffee makes you, like, that's how you know you're really sick.
Right. Practically dying of cancer, right? God, she's so gross. So she went on to make upwards of 30, 40 videos. I've seen different numbers all over the place. And of course, she's deleted 3/4 of them by this point in time. But she made so many videos, and she even went so far as to fat shame the female owner and call her chunky or something like that.
The only threat I was to that chonky business owner who doesn't take care of herself and wanted to be a hater. She was being jealous, and then she discriminated against me on top of it. She just is jealous to see her business in my content. I'm pretty. I'm the face of this place now, and that makes her jealous. That's why she told me to shut my camera off and not them. Look at her face. I'm sorry, but look at her. She looks like she works on a farm. I am one to talk. I don't care.
And then obviously like did that mocking video and stuff like that. And she even brigaded her freaking minions to go and leave comments on this coffee shop, leave reviews. That's essentially what happened. She was asked not to film there anymore. I showed you the 2 clips of her proving that she was not disruptive ever. Which again, how can you be so self-absorbed that you have no idea what's going on around you and you have no idea what's like socially acceptable anymore? And it's so funny because it's like she's sitting here yelling like, oh, they're changing the rules and discriminating against me, when it feels like influencers are the ones who try to change all the rules to suit their job, to suit their narrative. And it doesn't work that way. And there's been tons of other times that she has crossed this boundary of filming in public, been asked to stop filming, and she'll say, like the incident at TJ Maxx where she says this.
We're not going to buy anything. Okay. And I'm going to post this to social media.
This is a great example of lack of mindfulness and what not to do when somebody sets a boundary.
And I actually found a really great comment from a creator who responded by saying this.
It's also an example of a mother bullying another person in front of her children, setting a bad example. A good example of mindfulness would have been this mother respecting the cashier's boundaries, continuing to record the haul at home because she already had footage throughout the store, and explain in her TikTok video, I was asked to stop recording, so I did that. Here's my haul. People would respect her for it, and it shows and displays mindfulness and a good example for her kids.
And there's been other incidences where she has filmed moms in public and shamed them, or there was an incident at a laundromat. She allegedly, I don't know, it was something about criticizing a mom for parenting her children and then ran into the child and then laughed about it or something like that, like ran into her with like a laundromat. I don't know what happened, but apparently it was silly and just right up Adrielle alley of trash. Yeah, it's so, oh my gosh, I got cat fur everywhere. It's just so yucky for someone to act like this and cross these personal boundaries. And when you're filming in public, like, you don't know what someone else is going through. You don't know the reason that someone might not be comfortable being on camera or might not be safe being on camera and being posted to social media with millions of people. You live in a small town. Maybe someone in that small town is fleeing an abusive relationship. Maybe someone's in witness protection. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? And ultimately, maybe someone just doesn't want to be filmed and doesn't want to be featured in your trash content of you hypersexualizing your body and posting thirst trap content and posting all this controversial content. Do you actually not see why businesses wouldn't want to be associated with someone who flips off people on the internet because they say something. I don't even know why she flipped off people. Oh, it's because they were calling her out for not making any money. Or people who just like spit out their window, or people who grind on camera and out of touch with reality, with what reality and social media and socially acceptable. I don't understand how we got this far as a society, to be honest. It's rather concerning indeed. I think that's all I have for you in the wild world of Adrielle Sigler. I'm sure there's stuff that I missed. Comment down below if there's something that you think that I missed that really needs to be highlighted and put at the forefront of the conversation, and I will film a part 2 of this deep dive series. I tried my best to focus on the stuff that people were really upset about and the stuff that's really, really problematic. Oh, you know what I didn't include? Her being a total racist D-bag. That's pretty important to include. So here's a clip of her fully admitting to saying the N-word.
You already saw what I went through yesterday. I'm not trying to repeat that mistake twice.
Adrielle dropped the hardest N-bomb in 2024.
That was so dumb what I did. It was so bad. Anyway.
And here's some tweets of her saying the N-word. Classy. Class act. I feel as though it just goes to show just how poor her mental health is and the level of paranoia that this woman suffers from. Either that or this is all just a huge facade and she's not actually paranoid. She just plays it up for the camera. But I don't know. I think regardless, there's a really unhealthy relationship with social media and this woman, and the fact that she admits that she's developmentally arrested yet isn't taking any accountability for growth and development and change is really telling to what kind of person she is. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this an example of a time for call out culture, or is this a time for cancellation culture? What do you guys think? Thinking critically with her past, her sketchy past, because I believe there's charges and stuff. Guys, there's so much with this girl. But with her sketchy past and now her communicating with minors, I think that's cancelable. I don't think that's okay. I don't think it's okay to be in these private chats with minors or group chats with minors and having these intimate conversations and giving advice to minors, especially as an influencer. There's already a huge power dynamic. And again, if she were to block a teenager because she didn't like what they had to say or whatever, that could be really dangerous. It is a dangerous game she's playing. And then on top of that, she's constantly putting her own safety and her children's safety at risk. They just had to move because she feared for her safety, and her address got leaked 2 days after she moved because her digital literacy is 0%. She does not understand what it means to be safe online and keep her kids safe online at all. And it's insane to me because just wait, there's going to be another incident. There's going to be another thing. Start looking at what she's planting the seed for now, because she always plants seeds months in advance. And then it's a slow build up to we need to move, or a slow build up to what was the other one I saw? Doesn't matter. It's always a plant the seed and a slow build with Adrielle. It's a pattern of behavior. And it keeps happening again and again. So I'm curious to see what the next scam's going to be, because a scamfluencer is going to scamfluence always and steal people's money. But this person is next level. Oh my gosh. I can't, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know where to go with her. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope that this video turns out okay, to be honest. I hope this was a nice comprehensive overview of just how problematic Adrielle Sigler is, and hopefully we're starting to see the decline. Her views are definitely down and I'm here for it. And I think that we're seeing the beginning of the end of Adrielle, because there's only so long that this type of rage bait can keep up. And although she says cancel culture doesn't exist, you can't cancel someone unless they decide to get off the app, and you can try and try and try it till you're blue in the face, which to a certain extent she's right. If she's willing to keep going and keep trucking forward with all of this heat, then that's on her. But Just the fact that she has to turn her comments off on TikTok is going to be a huge hit to her algorithm. She's going to fall right off the face. And the best thing to do with someone like this, as hard as it is, because she is fun to watch spiral down because she is so erratic and everything. The best thing to do, though, is to completely ghost her, to block her so she stops showing up in your feed, the whole 9 yards, and head over to the Adrielle Sigler Snark page on Reddit. I have my videos here. There's a couple other creators who I'll link down in the description box who have covered her. There's plenty of places where you can consume her content without actually having to go and consume her content, if that makes sense. Because every click, every view, especially on TikTok, gets her paid. And with TikTok, the view is instant. The moment you click into the video, she gets the view. So just be mindful of that while you're going to snark on her. And I know it's hard and I know it's fun, absolutely wild, but be really mindful of where you are giving your social media currency. Even if it's hate social media currency, it still pays those influencers. And are you okay funding their lifestyle? If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. It helps boost me into the algorithm and get this information in front of more eyeballs and hopefully get some real accountability and some real changes to happen. And at the end of the day, I truly, really appreciate it. I hope you guys are having an amazing, fantastic, wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye guys.